Cristobal, beast. Signetti, dog. Their teams littered with all of them. We had a chance to catch up with one of the coaches who's going to be coaching in the big college game earlier today. And I'll tell you what, I jumped off his high dive.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
We're on a sideline.
Yep.
I threatened to tackle him. Mm-hmm. And now just a couple days away from the big college game, a few days removed from him throwing a left jab at me, hey,
oh, yeah.
Slip.
Yeah.
Good slip. Almost got you in the throat.
Could have parried it if you wanted.
Yeah, definitely could have. And I thought about bang to the
liver shot.
This thing right here.
Yep.
Slip. Yeah.
And he almost had the...
Yeah, and he would have belly-to-belly suplexed me there. Yeah, he had me too. I gave up good left. Yeah, I stepped back though. I feel like I timed it right.
Yeah.
We're
Good.
shadow boxing,
Filling him out.
But he got me. I went in, and he immediately knew he was going for under leverage. He actually lifted my hand up and did that. That's what these jiu-jitsu things do.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's exactly
what
right.
These jiu-jitsu. These are machines. Okay, they are fingering your rib cage, so you just go like that a little bit, and as soon as you do that, bang, chicken wing, broken shoulder. Like that is what they are masters of the body. They can control what you. And he did in that moment. I thought we were coming in for casual thing. After we did the entire thing, nope. Leverage, lifts it up, bang, and I'm under your arm, and you're dead. He knew. That was a toss over the head like
Kind of a cheap shot, to be honest.
Well, it was right in front of my face, though, so it kind of happened.
Well, you thought you guys were done. The bell had rung, and he came in and just gave you a little one of the stuff.
He didn't hear no bell.
But there's no bell. Yeah, and I should have known that.
I heard the bell.
Well, the bell rang whenever they just got done kicking somebody's ass.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that is certainly what their team likes to do. We caught up with that coach earlier today. What a beast, what a monster. Congrats to him, and thank you for his time. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, who will be playing in a national championship, a big college game on Monday night in their home stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, he's big, he's strong, he's a former player, a former Natty winner, an absolute dog. Ladies and gentlemen, Mario Cristobal.
Yeah, coach!
How are you, coach?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Great, man. How are you? You're playing in a big college game on Monday. Excited? You did it. You won. You did it. Hey. Yeah. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on the show. We're just getting ready for practice, man. Got another big one. Really good meetings, great prep so far, so just keep doing it.
Okay, whenever you look at the Indiana team, I've kind of felt this way, as have the boys. Pretty like-minded individuals leading the team. Do you kind of see that in the similarities or the traits of what you've seen on film of the Indiana team and how you want your team to be viewed as well?
They're fast, they're physical, they're really, really talented. High football IQs. The level of communication is really, really high. You don't see many, if any, busts, especially down the stretch here in the last few games. They work well together. They swarm the football. They chase and finish. They secure the football really, really well, and they force a lot of turnovers. And just an elite level football operation.
The way everybody's talking about it is how you're talking about with this Indiana team. Obviously, they've been through the most dominant run in college football playoff history. For your team, we've got a chance to watch just dogs, dude. Feels like whatever the game calls for, they show up with. At Texas A&M, 25, 30-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, it won't get talked about, but that changes game completely for both sides. Kicking game, obviously, deeply affected for you guys. There wasn't many points in that game. You guys kind of adapt, do what you have to do. Ohio State, same thing. Then against Ole Miss, it was like, hey, we got to be able to spar and keep up with this team. Is that something you're proud of whenever you think about your team? We can win in a variety of different ways, or is that just kind of the DNA of your squad? They'll get the job done. Like, what have you learned about your team over this college football playoff run?
We just go. It's whatever it takes mentality. Every team is different, right? Every fight has its own unique strategy and aspects that are unique to that particular contest. And I think our guys understand that. Their level of commitment to doing it to a certain way and a certain standard has increased, and it's gotten even better down the stretch here. So just a really strong appetite for getting better, for just getting pushed. The drive, determination is legit. These are like self-starting dudes that love football, and they absolutely love competing and smacking each other around out there in practice and preparing.
Answering the bell, I think, is the big thing, is how I would describe your team. Because, maybe Miami teams of the past or, flashy teams of the past, if they were to get into an actual fight, they'd roll over. Like, I think that is what I think you consider yourself, and you don't say it. And obviously, I don't think people that have an alpha or a toughness trait don't come out and tell you about it. So anybody that's telling you about it is certainly something. But I think a lot of tough people would think that, oh, these show front runner type teams, if they get into a real fight, they'll fold. Your team starts getting into real jousts, answer, and then over the top. And it feels like on the offensive side, obviously Carson Beck is making all the right decisions. They're able to protect him. Him running in here and screaming for the final 6 yards. What a moment for him. But it does feel like you have guys that are ready to answer the bell at all times. Running back position, dogs everywhere. Wide receiver, dogs everywhere. Offensive line, dogs everywhere. Defense across the board, dogs everywhere. How do you find these guys? Like, what are you looking for whenever you're trying to find the next Miami Hurricane? Because it feels like across the board you got dogs. And everybody's looking for that, I thought. But you seemingly have found them.
We've been very fortunate to have a collection of guys they're men of action. You know what I mean? They know talk is worthless in this profession. They know the only value and the only thing that matters are the dudes within the walls of our building. That's it. And they also understand that like this is an awesome place if you love working, if you love football, if you understand the value of a great education, because we hammer all that stuff and we hammer it hard and we go and the reward on the other side is that you get better individually, you get better collectively, and then you grow a legitimate and genuine respect for each other that galvanizes a unit, an organization, and makes you play harder for each other. So we just believe in that. We just kind of shut out all the outside stuff, man. It's us. It's always been us. It's always going to be us. So we like that.
Yeah, I like the way you guys view the games and your defense, the way they thump people. Which reffing crew you're going to get certainly matters, I think, for the way in the style of play. And you guys have been able to dial it back if you have to. But whenever these refs are letting the teams play, which we like, I think everybody likes that, your team is like a 1995, 1999 football team. I mean, it is just everybody's looking for some, and it's like every tackle was ending with punishment. It's been an honor to watch your team play. Last question from me before the boys have a few, Coach. We saw Mark Fletcher, this guy, monster, do his thing. Then fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, you bring in Marty Brown. This guy, who is that guy? We haven't seen him all catch in the fourth quarter, run in the fourth quarter. He's seemingly like a closer for you guys with Fletcher. Can you tell me about kind of the stable you have in the backfield and how you kind of decide who goes when? Because it feels like those are two NFL guys that are certainly making plays for you in big moments, both of them.
We feel we're pretty fortunate there. We're 4 and 5 deep, and judging by the freshman that's on campus now practicing with us, we're going to get continually better at that position. The best part about that group is they get it, that it's a long season, and that you have to share responsibilities and carries, and that your responsibility in blocking for the quarterback or blocking in some of the run game is just as important as carrying the ball, and nothing's more important than the ball. That's the program. So, but they're a ton of pride, really, really physical. Really, as good of a leader as you can imagine, a guy like Mark Fletcher, truly the heart of our football team. And like yesterday, you have a bunch of new guys on campus, right? With 30 new freshmen, they're riled up, ready to go. They haven't been in pads, and scout team comes out and they try to get a piece of him, and all of a sudden, that thing gets. You know how it gets.
Hey, welcome to college ball. Yeah, welcome to the
and you know what? It was welcomed by the whole team, and I thought that was a really good indication. That's what it's supposed to feel like. That's what we've been striving for. When the competition stuff is never viewed as like, hey man, chill, slow it down. No, bullshit. Like, we have to get better. We're playing against a really physical team. You have to practice in a physical manner. And I think we're taking there's a lot of growth in those particular areas in our program.
Yeah, brother-in-law and each other ain't getting anybody better. Okay, that ain't helping anybody. And there are some places that have that shit happening. And that is obviously because you've been around, obviously you played. There's always a guy, not always, in bad teams, there's always a guy looking for a brother-in-law situation. And then that's 2 people now. And then all of a sudden, that's 3 people. Then you got 4 people. Then all of a sudden, that kind of spreads throughout the entire team. Love hearing that about your squad. That's because of your culture. That's because of your leadership. Now, let's also talk about the maturity of your particular squad. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, Coach, you and IU, two of the older teams in the NCAA this year. Michigan was an older team. Ohio State brought back a lot of guys. They were an older team. Do you think that's a coincidence? Or when you're bringing in guys like Keontae Scott, he's older. Mo Torre is older. Mesidor was proven and older when he came in. Your entire offensive line, Carson Beck, those were all older guys. So do you think that's a coincidence? Are you doing that on purpose? And then when you get Malachi Toney, this superstar freshman, young kid, like how does he mix in? How do the younger guys mix into this older regime kind of that you have?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, I think we have a very unique combination. Like, I think we have the right blend of older guys, experienced guys, guys that have been around for a couple of years, and then some young elite talent. And they all mesh really, really well together. You know, we do believe that the core of your team, the nose tackle, D tackle, the center, the quarterback, the linebacker, the safety, and the running back, that just the middle, the gut of your team has to be like experienced, hard-nosed, tough-ass experienced guys, because that's always going to be the easiest way to get gutted if you're not, right? You have to have real deal dudes right in the middle of your football team. But if you look at our team, I mean, it's spread pretty evenly. You know, the young talent that has come in, that has earned time, they're on the field. It's not just Malachi, it's Bryce Fitzgerald. You know, this is now 4 years in a row we've had one or two freshman All-American on our football team. And then you have some guys like Carson that's been around for a long time, guys like Mo Toure, who's been around forever, Keontae Scott. They've seen a lot of ball. Those are old eyes. They kind of have that sixth sense that allows them to play at a level and make plays that maybe a particular call didn't call for. You know, so I think it's the right blend, and they do a great job mentoring and pushing and holding the young guys to a standard.
That Keontae Scott pick six jump against Ohio State is obviously going to be one of the lasting images of this particular big college football playoff that we have going on right now. Your team has a lot of those. Carson Beck, I mentioned it. Whenever he ran in that touchdown from the 6, he's yelling, the whole time. And you can almost see like a 4,000-pound gorilla maybe off of his back in that exact moment because of everything he's kind of been through. And I said on game day, and Tone Diggs and I kind of talked about it heading into college game day, they're talking about storylines that potentially can come out of this particular playoff run for these teams. It's like the rise, fall, and rise again of Carson Beck could potentially be the case. Tell me about Carson Beck, your quarterback, what you've seen from him, and kind of the whole year that was with him as your quarterback. Because whenever he goes to your place, and obviously it's outside the building, there's a lot of drama immediately about Carson Beck. You know, I think he gets his car robbed. I think, you know, a lot of other things happen. People start burying him. You guys lose a couple, you aren't perfect. It's like, this guy stinks. And then all he does is seemingly just keep showing up like the rest of your squad. Can you tell me about your quarterback a little bit and the decision to bring him and now where you're at?
Well, if you watch film on him in 23, like, it's off the charts. He's ripping it all over the place and leading that team to high-level victories and a great season. And in 24, it just seemed that offensively, you know, they were – and a great team. Obviously, they've been outstanding for a while. But you could tell they were off offensively. There were some guys down on the offensive line. Protection wasn't holding up as it was before. And then the receivers, you know, there wasn't a connection there. And then he gets blasted and gets hurt. We had enough people that knew of him. The background check was awesome, and he's like an elite human being and elite competitor, and he's got elite traits, and he's got a lot of experience. And we felt that if we could surround him with the right offensive line, the right pieces outside, and a strong running game, that he could get back to, you know, elite form. So the guy's awesome. The guy could give a rat's you-know-what about all the outside noise and people talking. And I think that's kind of – it rubs off on his teammates. They're cut of the same cloth, right? The same type of DNA. So this guy's been nothing but awesome for the University of Miami. And I'm really happy for him that he's continuing to push on and have an opportunity to go get another 1-0 because, again, that's all he cares about. He doesn't care about personal accolades and awards and all that stuff. He just wants to win. So fired up for the guy.
Yeah, your wide receiver crew is awesome. Marion Daniels, Malachi, and then obviously you add in Fletcher and Brown and offensive line that has 6'9". Is that what Bell is? If I recall, 6'9" on the.
Yep, 6'9", 6'9".
And then I think you got what, 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", and then like 6'7" on the other side.
Maui knows them.
We're pretty large up front. We end up getting some big dudes, but you know what? They're athletic, jumbo athletes, man. These guys could run. Their metrics are really high level. Some are off the charts. You know, the bone density of Mainoa is like that of like a brontosaurus. You know what I mean? He's just a monster.
He's awesome.
And you know what? And they approach every day like they're nobodies. And they like getting pushed. You've seen Coach Mirabal, our offensive line coach, man. He gets after their butts like it's day one freshman just trying to earn a spot on the scout team. You know, that's why they're great. They're all about it. And you know what they do? They do a great job helping us find the right guys to come in after them in recruiting. They're really good with that.
I love to hear that. Passing down the baton of a great offensive line is, once again, great culture from an offensive lineman. I would expect nothing else. They're always with the ball carrier, too, whoever it is. We've noticed, and obviously you see that on film. Anytime you're big guys, like when Quentin Nelson got drafted to the Colts, Quentin Nelson was picking up the wide receiver who had the ball. This guy's 20 yards down the field. First person to him was Quentin Nelson chasing the ball. It's like, holy hell, this sets a standard. Every time you guys score or anytime you guys have a play, these massive jumbo humans are in the end zone with their teammate. Like, it feels like you have a very tight group, and it feels like that offensive line does lead the way. Now, you have a very busy schedule coming up before the big college game, so we appreciate you taking time. On that note, a little different than Indiana's week, it feels like. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Coach, in terms of preparation, are you treating this week as a traditional home game, or do you have to kind of tweak things a little bit because it obviously isn't a traditional home game? I mean, I understand having the blinders on, but I'm sure you have all the players are dealing with family, friends, asking for tickets. Obviously, there's just a bunch of pomp and circumstance and bullshit surrounding the team being down there playing at home. So what is the preparation like going into Monday's game?
It is no different than any road trip and has road trip mentality. And I'll tell you, you just mentioned a lot of the reasons why, but you know, the parents, you know, we engage them with messaging early that we're shutting down all the outside stuff and as it relates to tickets and everything else, because we have great families, but you know, like anything else, right? Everyone wants to be there and be involved, and they've been awesome. And understanding, knowing that we're going away, we're going on lockdown. We do what we do. It's a road trip mentality. We get to use our home facilities, right? Our practice for the sites and whatnot, and we get to play in our home stadium. But we're actually on the other side and in our away uniforms, you know. And those are dynamics that, you know, the way that, I don't know, the DNA of our team and the way we practice and prep, that kind of stuff really doesn't factor in. You just kind of lay out the dynamics for everybody. Today we take them and lock them down after practice in our hotel. So we have our 3 days to ourselves, handle media, handle practice, just stay in preparation, man. Everything want to know mentality, and really just dive into what we're playing against, which is an awesome football team.
Is this what you've done every single game of the college football playoff? Same exact setup here?
Yeah. The exact same setup. It hasn't changed at all. And, you know, it works for our guys. You know, it's kind of neat for our guys. They're experiencing the equivalent of the old school NFL season, right? 16 games. And they've been great. And you know what? We've done a great job taking care of the bodies and at the same time just letting it rip in practice, man, and cutting it loose and being physical and never losing that part of our team. You know, never compromising the physicality and the work that comes with, you know, being able to play at your best on game day.
Being able to balance having an edge and keeping people healthy is a fascinating dynamic. Your team obviously been able to figure it out. Last question here about the U as a whole. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Coach, there's been stuff about, you know, your president and CEO, Joe Echeverria, and it feels as though he was a massive part of you coming to Miami. There's a couple press conferences where you actually talk about it. What does he mean to just the program and the school, and how big of a role is he going to play, you know, in the football team going forward and just the continued success of the University of Miami?
Yeah, he's the massive reason of why I was, number one, I had the privilege of being offered the opportunity, but then eventually choosing to return, you know, because that was a difficult decision in terms of just life, family dynamics. You know, I've been a selfish son of a bitch my whole life, so it is what it is. But it's always been Miami. It always has been, but it had to be right, and not in terms of me and my contract. And you know, and all the money stuff is, you know, it's just not like football and being a Miami Hurricanes always been everything to me. And the bottom line is, I feel like anyone that played here, we were young knuckleheads, man. We were, and Coach Jimmy Johnson, Erickson, all these guys, they shaped us. They changed our lives forever. So I owe Miami, and I think all of us that went through her, we owe Miami, and it had to be done right. But we had to have a man right at the head of the whole thing that was going to be able to provide us with all the resources to make it Miami like come into modern day football, because Miami had lagged behind. Miami had completely abandoned ship, and let's call it what it is, man. I couldn't go to the grave without Miami being Miami again. That's the bottom line, and that's why I came. But Joe Echeverria, his leadership, his engagement, his involvement, his passion for it, like the whole objective is to take Miami. You know, we're progressing, we're getting better. We still have a long ways to go. But brother, that guy is a hungry dude, and he gets after it. And what I couldn't ask for a better situation, man. So it's in lockstep throughout this whole thing.
Good for you. Proud of you, man. I couldn't go to my grave without seeing Miami back. Columbus High School, obviously getting a lot of chatter. Your high school photo, strapping lad. Strapping lad. Tell me about the mauler that was Fernando Mendoza Sr. as a high school teammate.
Yeah, that's a great team right there. Great offensive line. Fernando Mendoza Sr. was a great player. You see Alex Mirabal there, number 65. He was a great player, man. A lot of some of those other guys were some crazy rounders, but they were really good players as well. But we won the district. We won the sectionals. We actually played against the number one team in the state and beat them. You'd be proud. Swirling wind. We punt. They muff it. We recover it. Kick a field goal, 3-0. Carlos Huerta drives it through the uprights. And then we got beat after that against Carroll City. But unbelievable memories, man. It really, really was.
All right. Well, hopefully you get to reminisce a little bit after the game with former high school teammate and obviously his boy who's going to be on the other side. He's representing Miami well, too, up here in Indiana, we'll have you know. He's been great for our community, great for our society, and obviously great for football. So, muchos gracias to Columbus High School.
Your Spanish is still suffering terribly.
You're going to give me a de nada right there? Isn't that what the thing?
Yeah.
Isn't that the answer there? And that's what, hola, aquí estamos, mi amigo. Muchas gracias por Columbus High School.
You got no shot, brother. But we'll work with you. We'll get you ready. And I do want to say this. I appreciate you guys having me on. I know, again, very much appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Go Canes.
Thank you.
We love you, Coach. We've been following your team this entire playoff run. It's been an honor, dude. You're the best. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Cristobal.
Hey,
Coach Cristobal.